Today, we're diving into a real paradox. How can a country with some of the most incredible natural wealth on Earth be so crippled by a shadow economy that's, well, basically stealing its entire future? Let's get into it.
So first things first, you've got to understand, Madagascar isn't just another island nation. It's what scientists call a mega-diverse country. Think of it as a living, breathing laboratory of evolution, absolutely packed with plants and animals you cannot find anywhere else on the planet. Truly irreplaceable.
And this is a huge but. There's a dark shadow hanging over this paradise. And that shadow is just rampant, systemic corruption. The rule of law there is so weak that it's turned this treasure island into a playground for international criminal networks. And if you want a number to put on it, just look at this. Back in 2020, Transparency International gave Madagascar a score of just 25 out of 100 on its Corruption Perceptions Index. That landed them way down at 149th out of 180 countries. So yeah, this isn't just some minor problem, it's baked into the very fabric of the state.
And that right there, that's what we're calling Madagascar's paradox. So we're going to investigate the criminal enterprises that are doing more than just breaking laws. They are actively robbing the Malagasy people of their own heritage.
And look, don't just take my word for it. The USAID mission director put it perfectly. These are multi-billion-dollar transnational operations. That's billion with a B. This is a massive, high-stakes battle over the country's very soul.
Okay, let's open our first case file, Rosewood. Now, get this, by value, this is the single most trafficked wild product on the entire planet. I'm not kidding. It's bigger than elephant ivory, rhino horn, and pangolin scales combined. It's just insane.
You know, they call it the ivory of the forest. And that nickname just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It tells you everything you need to know about its incredible value and the completely illicit nature of the whole trade. It's a luxury good that fuels a massive black market.
Okay, check this out. This map is all about following the money. You can see how the cash flows from importers in China straight to these powerful guys called Rosewood operators. And what do they do with all that cash? Well, they use it to pay fines and bribe officials at every level just to get them to look the other way. It's a perfect closed loop of corruption.
And here, we can see the physical journey of the wood itself. I mean, they're chopping down these trees deep inside supposedly protected national parks. Then, they smuggle the logs down to the coast, load them onto small boats, and meet up with bigger cargo ships out at sea, completely bypassing any official ports or inspections.
All right, let's move to our second case file, and you're going to see a really similar pattern here. We're talking about unseen gold, the super secretive, totally unregulated world of artisanal gold smuggling. So, the big question is, who's actually in charge of all this gold? I mean, you've got thousands of local people panning for tiny bits of gold dust, but the real power? That's held by a very shadowy network. And some of these groups have been running this operation for generations. Let's break down how this works. It all starts with the local panners. They find gold dust and sell it to, of all people, the local grocery store owners. They then sell it up the chain to local collectors, who are being bankrolled by even bigger fish, the super collectors. And right at the top of the pyramid, you have the elite gold traders who control the entire export network. It's a system that operates almost completely outside of the government's control. And just look at this. Corruption is everywhere, at every single stage. We're talking bribery right at the mines, extortion during processing, officials abusing their power during transport, all the way to export. The whole system is designed to be illegal, from start to finish.
Our third case file, and honestly, this one might be the most heartbreaking. It's the trafficking of Madagascar's iconic, unique, and endangered animals. This time, the stolen treasures are literally alive.
$50,000. Let that sink in. That is the black market price for one single plowshare tortoise, one of the rarest tortoises on the entire planet. When there's that much money on the line for one animal, you start to understand the powerful motivation behind this criminal enterprise.
And this isn't just a couple of guys in a boat. This map reveals a really sophisticated international operation. Traffickers pay intermediaries to poach these tortoises from local communities. Then the animals are smuggled out by road, boat, and air through other countries like Tanzania or Mozambique before they finally end up in Asia, sold into the illegal pet trade. So, we've looked at the rosewood, we've got the gold, and we've got the wildlife. Now it's time to zoom out and connect the dots. Because these aren't just separate, isolated crimes. No way. They're all symptoms of the same disease, a deep, systemic failure, held together by this massive web of corruption.
There's actually a term for this. It's called state capture. This is when a small group of powerful elites and their business partners basically hijack parts of the government itself. They don't run things for the public good, of course not. They run them for their own private illegal profit. The line between being a government official and a crime boss, it just disappears.
And that leads to a complete system-wide failure. Customs officials, they get bribed to look away. Security forces, they're on the traffickers' payroll. The powerful political elites, turns out, they're the ones running the networks. The courts fail to prosecute, and the few brave activists and journalists who dare to speak out are threatened, fined, and sometimes even jailed. It's a climate of total impunity.
And this brings us to the most important point of all. This isn't just about trees, gold, or tortoises. It's about people. The true cost of all this corruption is measured in human lives and stolen futures. The victims are often hidden, buried deep in the supply chain. Get this, an estimated 3 out of every 10 illegal loggers die in accidents. Child labor is rampant. Girls are trafficked to logging sites for sexual exploitation. And ultimately, the entire population of Madagascar is being robbed of their natural heritage and their chance to build a sustainable future.
So you see, this goes so far beyond simple crime. This is the systematic trafficking of a nation's very foundation, its resources, its laws, and its people. And that leaves us with one final, sobering question. When a nation's future is sold off, piece by piece, what's truly left behind?